Dust moves slowly through the darkness, floating in the narrow beam of a flashlight. The light reveals only small pieces at a time, old metal shapes, faded stones, and piles of objects buried beneath thick layers of dirt. The air is heavy and still. It feels like this hidden space has not been touched or seen for hundreds of years. There is no sound except for the quiet movement of dust settling in the beam of light. This underground place is unlike anything seen in stories or legends. It is not polished or bright. It does not resemble the imagined treasure rooms often shown in movies. Everything here is old, muted, and covered in the weight of time. Gold does not shine, gems do not sparkle. Instead, they sit quietly under the soil, waiting for light to uncover them again. What lies inside this hidden chamber is not organized or displayed. It looks as if time layered everything where it fell. Objects rest on top of each other, some in piles, some half buried, some scattered across the stone floor. Every piece is different, yet all share the same softness, the same ancient color created by dust and decay. This treasure does not look new. It looks forgotten. The cave stretches deeper than the light can reach. It feels endless, with different areas leading further into darkness, each containing more scattered traces of the past. The walls carry marks of age, cracks, and old erosion. Even the air feels older here, as if it has been waiting for centuries inside this sealed chamber. Gold, when left untouched for long periods, loses its shine under dust. Many pieces here, almost grey at first glance, until the light moves across them and reveals faint reflections buried beneath the dirt. Gems show faint colours under the soil, muted reds, greens, and blues that were once bright and clear. Pearls sit cracked and dry, shaped by time rather than care. Nothing here feels like it was prepared for display or decoration. Every piece looks like it was left behind in a hurry or simply forgotten by a world that collapsed long ago. Some objects lie in clusters, others in loose piles, and many remain partly hidden under layers of soil. This adds to the sense that the treasure was not placed here carefully, but gathered, dropped, or lost before the chamber was finally sealed. Even without knowing who created this place or why it was hidden, the atmosphere tells its own story. It feels like a place built during a time of wealth, then abandoned during a time of fear. The dust covering everything acts like a blanket, holding the entire scene in a slow, quiet sleep. Everywhere the flashlight moves, new shapes appear. A curved piece of metal, a carved object made from stone, a collection of small beads stuck together by dirt, old containers that once held valuable items, bowls filled with soil and fragments of treasure. These objects repeat across the cave, reminding the viewer that this place once held value and meaning. But time changes everything. Layers of dust soften the edges of even the hardest materials. The cave feels almost peaceful now, but also heavy with history, like walking inside a memory that has been frozen for centuries. The treasure is no longer alive. It is still, quiet, and motionless. This cave does not feel like a simple storage spot. It feels like a world of its own, full of different areas connected by narrow paths and wider sections. Some parts appear untouched by collapse or erosion, as if they remained sealed perfectly. Other sections look disrupted, objects fallen, scattered, pushed aside by shifts in the earth or by earlier visitors who left long before this discovery. As the light moves deeper into the darkness, the treasure continues. There is no clear beginning or end to it. It simply keeps appearing, golden metal shapes buried in soil, dull gemstones sitting beneath dust, carved pieces that once meant something significant. Some objects appear stacked, suggesting that they were once piled higher before time pushed them downward. Others look like they fell from higher platforms or shelves that no longer exist. Every piece has shifted slightly over the years, creating layers of history that rest on top of one another. This hidden chamber might have been created by people who wanted to keep their wealth safe. Or it may have served as a ritual space, where valuable items were placed as offerings. It could have been part of a larger structure, now buried and forgotten beneath the earth. The details are lost, only the objects remain, carrying silent clues that no longer speak clearly. What becomes clear while observing this underground treasure is how much time has transformed it. The longer treasure sits untouched, the more it begins to lose its connection to wealth and shine. The gold remains gold, but its meaning changes. It becomes part of the stone around it, part of the cave atmosphere, another layer in the history of the earth. It is strange to see treasure in this state. In stories, riches appear bright and vibrant, glowing in the dark, stacked neatly in chests or arranged in beautiful displays. But here, treasure is simply part of the landscape, resting where it fell. Its value feels different. It feels quiet, almost humble. The deeper the chamber goes, the more the treasure blends with the environment. Soil fills bowls that once held gems. Dust sinks into carved patterns. Dirt gathers around the edges of metal shapes, making it difficult to tell which objects were once priceless and which were ordinary. But even covered in dust, the shapes hold a certain beauty. There is something powerful about seeing centuries of wealth subdued by time. The treasure is no longer something to be taken, bought, or sold. It is something to be studied, respected, and understood. Every object in the cave represents a life, a culture, or a belief. Even without knowing who made them, the craftsmanship speaks through the dirt. The way metal is shaped, the style of carving, the patterns left behind all suggest a world that cared deeply about these objects. Some pieces appear ceremonial, others look practical, many seem symbolic, but all share the same fate. They were left behind, sealed underground, untouched until now. The air in the chamber feels like it belongs to another time. It carries a sense of stillness that only comes from places long abandoned. The dust on the floor has not been disturbed for centuries. The objects rest exactly as time arranged them. The overall picture creates a strange blend of beauty and sadness. This treasure is magnificent, but in a quiet, faded way. It no longer belongs to anyone. It no longer holds the power it once had. Instead, it has become a kind of landscape, a picture made of objects instead of stones or trees. Even without dramatic music or flashy effects, the chamber itself tells a story. It shows what happens when wealth is left to rest in silence. It shows how time softens even the most valuable materials. It shows that treasure, when forgotten, becomes part of the earth once again. This discovery also raises a simple but powerful question. How much treasure around the world is still buried like this, hidden underground, waiting to be uncovered? No one knows how long this cave remained sealed. It may have been 1,000 years, maybe more. However long it was, time treated every object the same, covering it in dust, softening its shine, and turning it into a frozen moment of history. What remains now is not just wealth. It is a memory of a civilization, or a group of people, who placed all of this here for a reason that can no longer be explained. The underground treasure chamber stands as a reminder that even the greatest riches eventually fade. Dust covers everything in the end. Time continues moving, even when the objects remain still. But despite the silence, this cave holds something powerful. Proof that the past leaves traces in the most unexpected places. When forgotten worlds collapse, they leave behind clues, treasure, artifacts, and objects that speak without words. This discovery is one of those clues, hidden deep beneath the ground, untouched by sunlight, left for centuries before finally being revealed again. Not as a bright display, but as a quiet scene preserved by time. It shows that treasure can be many things: wealth, history, memory, art, belief. And sometimes, when left underground, it becomes all of those things at once. As the last part of the chamber fades into darkness, the atmosphere remains unchanged, quiet, dusty, and heavy with everything time has forgotten. The treasure rests exactly where it has always rested, waiting for anyone who finds it to understand its real story. Not a story of gold, but a story of time. In the end, the chamber remains unchanged. The dust settles again, the light fades, and the treasure returns to its quiet place beneath the earth. Nothing moves, nothing speaks. What was once power, wealth, and pride now rests as a silent reminder of how easily the world forgets even the things it once valued most. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more videos.